Most have stories of when the demon shard struck, bringing an end to most of us, and unending misery to those that remained. Yet there are few stories of who, and fewer stories of why. As you sit before me, you believe you are the lucky ones, yet I offer that this is no life. We live only the cursed, hopeless life that the ancestors allow us to, because we failed. But why did we fail? Our unending belief that man was all-knowing, all-powerful, the kings of all we surveyed. Our men led us in politics, in religion, in sports, in war. In all things, men led the way. When the ancestors came upon our land, our world was without mankind. They brought their wrath upon the inhabitants at that time and ended their existence. For the ancestors do not believe in sharing anything they possess or seek to possess. But this land was not ready for them. They would need to change the land to suit their needs, or they would need to change to suit the land. So the ancestors decided to wait, to watch, to learn. And when man came to be, they celebrated. For here was their tool, their salvation. So they whispered, soothed, empowered, manipulated. But some remained unswayed. They rejected the gifts of the ancestors, or worse, chose to turn them against them. Those who saw the threat of the ancestors began to gather in numbers and strength. They become bolder, attacking the plans of the ancestors. They came to be known by a name that would be spat through the teeth of the ancestors: the Order of Ascension. And this would be the beginning of the end. Now the ancestors had a palpable target on which to vent their wrath. They whispered in the ears of men of power, offering their honeyed rewards. And that power struck at these upstarts, hunting them across the lands and mercilessly torturing and slaying their members. But this did not dissuade the Order. If anything, it emboldened them. They now struck overtly, their attacks foiling the plans of the ancestors and further heightening their rage. The ancestors chose to convene their puppets to discuss how to quash this lingering cockroach of a threat. The Order learnt of a great meeting of men and saw an opportunity to present their case. Both sides understated and misunderstood their foe. And thus, the great leader of the Order of Ascension, Dr. Rebecca Shelton, was able to force a meeting with the great men of the world. And she found only horror, for her true sight enabled her to see the true forms of the great leaders of men, putrefied and horrific husks of their former selves, fully under the sway of the ancestors and subservient to their every whim. Rebecca used her sight to reveal these forms to the limited audience. This was not of real consequence, for those within could be controlled. What was of consequence was the cameras. Moving pictures that, if ever revealed, would reveal the true form of the ancestors themselves. And this was their terror-given form. And thus, it was that a meeting of men would determine the fate of mankind. There was only one decision. The meeting of men would bring about the end of all opposition, before it would even realize it was opposed. And it was that the demon shards were awoken. The ancestors' puppets performed their rituals and turned their keys. And the demon shards were happy. They gleefully took to the skies and finally wrought the terror upon their prey that generation upon generation had feared. And the ancestors did find relief, for it was only through the weak minds of men that they were able to bring about this end. Men that valued power over compassion, strength over understanding, and wealth over learning. If a single woman had sat at that meeting, Would the outcome have been different?